Hello and welcome back to the Coffeevaners. Today we're going to look at the Thetford Toilet. We've had this caravan now for 8 months, and if anyone sort of followed us on Twitter, there's been a few little things regarding the washroom that we wanted to sort out from very early days. So as with everything, there's a backstory, and that backstory is when we first got the caravan, we went out and we purchased a environmentally friendly toilet solution. So it was a flush and a cassette fluid in one, and we used it for 2 or 3 trips, and we started to find that we were getting bits in the flush, and that was despite when we'd got home from using the caravan, being away and emptying the flush out. We always travel with it totally empty, and we only ever filled it when we got to site. So we started having a conversation on Twitter and looking not just why we were getting the bits in the flush, but how we could solve it. So what I went out and did was I've gone and totally flushed out the tank, got everything nice and clean, and the same with the cassette. And from that we decided to look at what fluid we would buy and what would try, and the different things we'd do to ensure that we kept the washroom in the best condition we could. And the reason we're doing that is because in all our travels this year, and we have been out sort of 6-7 times now, longest for a period of 14 days, we haven't used any facilities on site at all. We've always said right from the very beginning that we'd use the caravan as we use our home, and that goes for the washroom as well. We use it exactly the same as we use our bathroom at home. So once we've got everything nice and clean and all sorted out, and there was no bits in the toilet solution, we went out and we bought this product. It's called Proshot, and it's basically a nice measure that you can see exactly how much fluid you are putting into that toilet cassette, and you know when you put that in, you're putting it into the manufacturer's instructions. So as with all chemicals, it's never a good idea to mix them for lots of reasons, but the main reason is one chemical may react with another and it may not work very well. What we have found, you can see there, we've used about 3/4 of this bottle, is that it pretty much does exactly what it says on the tin, and it makes some claims, and the good thing is it really does pretty much stick to those claims. The first thing is it's formaldehyde free. That's really important to us because we go to sites that use septic tanks as well as sites that are on the main system. So we don't want to be having to carry more than one type of fluid. So we just use the one, and this is it. Easy rinse, absolutely. We've had no problems with this. It does not stick in any way, shape or form to the bowl of the toilet, and it says non-staining dye. Yes, it does not stain the toilet itself, but a word of warning, like lots of the chemicals, if you get these on your hands or on any surfaces, it is at the end of the day a concentrate, and you can only expect that this will stain, and it does stain your hands if you get this on your hands. The downside of this is that it's not the measure. The measure is perfect. It's the pourer that's the problem. Because of the way you fill the tank, you basically just squeeze the bottom and that fills the tank up to the level that you require, wherever that may be. And you then have to pour it. Well, the only way to pour it so that more of the fluid doesn't come up the pipe is to pour it that way. The problem then is when you turn it back, the fluid runs down the threads and down the side of the bottle. So when using this type of thing, the best thing to do is just to have a cloth just to wipe it wipe it clean, because then you have got a dye which is probably on the bottom. You'll go in, I don't know where people keep these. We actually keep it in the washroom in the cupboard. So what we don't want is we don't want any dye on the bottom that's gonna stain either the back of the cupboard or the shelf. We put in as directed, that the amount of fluid into the bottom. We had 2 litres of fresh water. We empty the toilet on a daily basis, and that kind of explains why we've used 3/4 of this and it's not lasting longer. But as a result of doing that, we think that we are never filling the cassette to capacity. Most people will say that, you know, a full cassette holds about 15-17 litres. Now that's 15-17 kilos plus the weight of the cassette. So what we don't want to be doing is carrying that sort of heavy weight. In fact, this is definitely a blue job. I wouldn't expect Ali to be shifting around 17 kilos or even 15 kilos of fluid down to the Elson point and tipping it out into the point, having to lift it up and physically manhandle the cassette. So we don't. That's definitely one of my jobs. But it's not just about using a fluid that works well, and the Proshot, the 40 shot, does work really well. We even found we use standard household luxury toilet paper and it breaks it down. It does a fantastic job. But there's a few things regarding the toilet that I want to take a look at. So let's just have a wander into the washroom. This is our very small eldest washroom, and with any washroom you clean it with standard bathroom cleaner. Now I want to explain, we don't use the fluid in the flush, and there's several reasons for that, but the most important reason is the design of the toilet, which I'm going to show you here. On the side, this is where the water comes out, and it spins round and sort of makes a swirl and then goes down the hole into the cassette. The only problem is, if the seat is down and you do that, it's basically throwing water up against the top of the seat, and if that's a fluid that's got a dye in it, then obviously that dye is going to stay on the bottom of the seat and you need to wipe it off every single time once you flush the toilet. So we use only water in the flush tank, and we found that that's absolutely fine. What we do with the fluid is we make up a 1 litre bottle of spray, and we use that spray to create, if you like, a toilet cleaner, which we just spray the toilet and that keeps the toilet perfect. What I've also found with this, and this is I'll just open the cassette and take this out, is that the inside of the cassette gets that tiny bit of blue tinge in any residue of water. It's the inside of the cassette. I put a torch in there to have a look at the mechanism, just to make sure that everything was spot on. Now what I actually do when I get home and we've been on a trip away, is I put 10 millilitres of Proshot into the cassette and literally fill it right to the top. And the reason is because that is designed to break things down, is that if there is any residue left in there from the trip away, what it does, it breaks it all down. I'll just leave it for sort of 4 hours, then I empty it out and just swill the tank out. Now don't leave it to drip dry, so there's still that sort of blue residue that we have, that blue coloured water in the bottom of the tank. Now I don't know if you've ever seen it, but we've seen it a couple of times on site, where someone has been wheeling down their cassette to the Elson point, and there's been like a dribble of water along the gravel as they go along the way, and that's purely because that the tank isn't sealing. And when, just to sort of explain how the tank works, when you turn the lever inside the toilet, you see that come across, and then you see it literally lock into place. That means that the toilet itself is sealed against the seal, and then of course once you pull it out, it pulls the cover over the top. But it's that sealing of that disc against the rubber that stops it all leaking out. So highly important that you use a silicone spray of one form or another just to keep that seal in good condition. And of course, to every now and again just give the actual plastic disc a good clean to make sure that that's all right, and then that can go back into the cassette opening on the outside of the caravan, and everything is all right for the next time it needs to be used. To wrap up on the fluid, we can say that, you know, we use the Proshot. It's a fantastic product. We paid, I think, about £8 plus delivery for a litre, and that has lasted the whole caravan season and will take us into winter. So obviously very good value for money. It works really well and certainly does the job. Heading back into our fantastic little washroom. So as you can see, the toilet itself is not stained. It works absolutely perfect as a toilet cleaner. So that's our look at the Thetford toilet and cassette, how we clean it, how we look after it, and the fluids that we use. We can recommend the 40-shot toilet cassette and flush fluid. We don't use it in the flush ourselves, but as a cassette fluid that can be used on any site. It is environmentally friendly and pH neutral, so we can use it wherever we go. It's worked for us all season and it will take us into winter. So there we are. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch up with you in the next one. You take care and stay safe. See you later.